Hello, and today we're going to be looking at the concept of growls. My buddy Darby suggested this one. And he wanted to see it in FL, not that it matters what DAW it's in. It's more plugin based, it's very specifically plugin based, but he wanted to see it done in FL because he's an FL user. So I'm going to be using very exclusive FL plugins, really, I'm going to try to do. So yeah, so I didn't realize that you have to add your path here in the drop-in the box here. Back in the day, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to add your plugins in a special place. It just knew where they were. And here it doesn't work like that anymore, which is unfortunate. So yeah, and where did you go? Is it still? Oh, skip pad shop. No one likes pad shop. Pad shop Pro is nice. It's not regular pad shop though. Probably no one here watching this knows what pad shop is. It's basically like a pad plugin from Steinberg. Oh great, third party versions of Image Lines plugins are popping up. Wow, this is a long scan. And this is why Bitwig's the best. It just works on load. Yeah, I don't have my USB key plugged in, so obviously I'm not gonna have a valid license for that. So do I have to go ahead and enable these then? Yeah, I would assume so. Let's put on massive contact. And serum. And are they in here now? Or nice. So massive in here, summer contact, massive, all 64-bit, and this is 64-bit FL Studio, I hope. You know how we check that as we open this and look for it. It won't tell me. Oh, it's so annoying. It just says launcher. What a bummer. I don't know why everything on my computer is 32-bit. It's so dumb. So yeah, we're gonna go over the growl stuff. Now, be forewarned. Yeah, you want to see it done in Harmor. I'm gonna use Citrus and Massive as examples of why they work so well for things like growls and Citrus, and Massive doesn't work as well. Like why Massive doesn't work as well. Alright. So I had done this earlier. What I basically did in Massive was I quick map the prism to modulation X. This is just for my example. Whatever. Yeah, and you leave it, and then basically, if I adjust this now and put this up, that's how I went about doing that, because I'm looking for some sort of squelchiness here. So and then distortion, I think I use log. My meters are really weird. It's because I'm not using ASIO, because I can't get ASIO to go to my recording software. So I did that, and then I had some it'll show what I did. So I made a pattern. The pattern, this has to have a track though. This actually has to go somewhere. Perfect. Oh, come on. And in here, I'm going to do it's a bit long. And then what we're going to do is like a pitch bend using FL Studio's abilities. So like that growl movement of pitch. Like that. So it was a square, but I had went into the harmonic phase, just messed with it a bit. It doesn't really do anything. Like Harmor, the way Harmor works, in full honesty, not using just a flat out saw or square is pointless. There's no point of like changing. In the local EQ, yeah, but like the section for harmonic phases and the timbre and like harmonic randomness, it's all like pointless. There's, in my opinion, there's like no point in even touching that stuff because it's an additive synthesizer. So like, yeah. So let's get into this. So it's gonna look like that, and I'm gonna do this. This is not going the way it's supposed to. Oh. Oops. I meant to modulate the X like this. Modulate like that-ish. Like that. It just gives it some like harmonic stuff, some grit. I don't know. That's 'cause that's what you want. So I did that, and that was all I did in here. And I lied. I did a bit of. So this was. And then I actually made a second part to this that came in a bit. Isn't doing what I want to right now, though. We can try adding that later, but this is the most important part right here. So the effects will make all of the difference here. Growls are like largely effect based, and if you actually have like a growl setup, most of the time the wavetables don't matter or any kind of that stuff. It depends though. So let's go at this. So I'd say this is one of the most important parts here. Oops. Oh my gosh, I haven't used this in so long. I used to use this program every day and I was so good at it, and now I have no clue what's going on. What? Oh. So here's where I'm at right now. I want to set up like a vowel kind of deal here, right? Because that's what a growl is. It's about like it's about vowels. So I'm gonna make a vowel shape like this, and then I'm gonna automate the frequencies of both of these, and basically I want them to kind of connect somewhere in the 110 to 200 hertz range to get like a vowel, to hit a vowel with the harmonics. And then now I'm going to have this one move kind of in a similar manner. Like that. And then after I do that, I'm going to put a wave shaper down. I'm never going to find the plugins I want. I'll just use this, I guess. Kind of like that. And then I'm going to put down a Vocodex. So because I'm using just like standard basic shapes, I have to find a way to add vowels, so I'm going to do that using Vocodex. Not with actually doing carriers or anything, but using the built-in options that Vocodex offers, like this. And I'm going to EQ it again. But I want to get rid of some of that stuff over here. And raise some high stuff. And probably cut the low end. What am I? Oh yeah. Yep. And then what else did I have done? trying to remember how I went about this. I did this on my laptop. It sounded good. Oh, that's what part of the problem is. And then... Yep. Okay. So something that would help here, first of all, is moving this down, and then adding... There we go. That can... gets under control a lot more. And then, see, I'm just showing you how, like, I'm using this to get, like, trying to get a growl at least. Yeah, so then I'd move this down one, and then... something like that. This has an important use, don't worry. So we're gonna go and draw these things. This is like the coolest plugin ever. I love this thing infinitely. Okay, so we're gonna some of that, drag a bit of this down, get some of that up. Then we're going to bank 4 and drag this down here for a second, then drag some of this up, some of that up, and then get some of this, start going up a bit, not that much, and then find out some edges, drag down some more of this, make this a bit sharper, and then more of that. Oops. No, don't do that. Go to 2, 3, or whatever. And then I gotta fix that. Was that on the first one? And then get this stuff out more. Then some more of that. Drag that down. It's down, that down. And raise this a bit more. So then we got do. See that? That is Class A sorcery right there. So I'll explain what I'm doing, because I'm not doing that at all. Can I fit an EQ? Like a thingy? Did I even put that on? No, I don't think I did. Let's put that back to where it was and just lower you a lot. Okay, so what I'm doing here is, like I said, we're adding vowels, right? So you get vowels from adding resonance, like peaks, like notches like this, through a filter or EQ or whatever. So if I show you in Serum, that's a bad example. Do I have one? I don't. Wow. Alright, let's grab one from Virtual Riot then. So let's look at... Yeah, here we go. Perfect. This sound right now. there's a secret here. So, like I was going on before, the effects make the sound more or less. So let's take off the sub though, it's kind of loud. Yeah, okay. So in the sound, you'll notice there's like the wave shaping first of all that's gonna do like a lot of the work. But if we deconstruct this, see right here we got a filter. This, if you took off the mix, is what I've drawn here. I've drawn it in an equalizer. And then down here we can see there's this. That would be if I came in here and made like another EQ. That's just this, and they're just moving towards each other. Right? But if I were to take off this filter and that EQ, it's now got it lost its growl when I did that. And if I take off this, I'm not sure what this is. It's just it's something similar to this one that makes the vowels. And if I take that off though, like all of its growling properties are like more or less gone. It's not like really growling anymore. This here actually produces like very little growl. There's the white noise it contributes by just making it louder at its peak of the top of this LFO with the growl. And that's what basically everything is. You turn on all these effects at the peak of the growl without making it sound horrible on the way up. And let's take off the volume mod. You can see it doesn't sound particularly pretty. So if I actually take off everything and we're just left with our little wave. Certainly does though, having a wavetable, it does help, because if we just had this, even if we did this, this already has vowel-y movements to it, and you can see that up here. Kind of how like the high end just kind of flicks. The high end flicks while like the mid kind of drops down a bit. That's what this wavetable's doing, but a saw wave won't do that, right? So that's why we have to like carve out the sound using this method if you're going to use Harmor, because Harmor doesn't have a real way of switching through waves and automatically getting you that kind of movement like really easily. It would be very hard. So that's why this is being done this way. So what I'm doing with the EQO, the thing that nobody ever uses, is except me, obviously, is you have banks of EQs and you can morph between them. So there's actually something, let's just close that and open a new window. And we can see that if I went to Filterscape, oh wow, they made that? That's weird. I never knew that. Filterscape, basically what it lets you do is you can select, you can set up filters in the exact same way I'm doing it right now. Set up filters, and you can morph between them. Obviously, the perks of Filterscape is that it's easier to like understand. This is a bit like quite a bit of hit and miss here. But using this can really get you those vowel shapes if you have those vowels on there and you're moving and you're morphing between them. While, because I'm kind of like making like a band reject here, kind of, if you think about it. That's what I'm doing. Probably more so if I did this. So that's what I'm getting at. And then we could EQ this into, want to put it before the Vocodex, I would say. And then make some sort of movement for those bands. So that's 3 and 4 and 6. It's hard to do this. And then other things I could think of was just adding like a chorus. And I got some reverbs, like real. So we went from this to this. I tried to sculpt it out. I'm not a pro at this. I never use FL Studio anymore, and I use plugins that have the ability to do this for me, so that's why. We could try this. Sounds like water, but yeah, that's how I do. That's how, like, you can make a growl with Harmor in Massive. If we were to take this exact same, I really want to, like, be able to copy this, but I can't. I could put the same thing in here, I guess. So if we took the same MIDI and just gave it to like a Citrus. Why don't you? There we go. And then added a citrus in. Lots of S's. This is not going the way I want it to at all. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I took the sub out of that other one. Out of both of them. So to make up for that, we would put that there, throw in some of this. Let's make up for that lost sub. Done. And this is a different story. So in Citrus, if you ever used it, basically you have a sine wave and then you just modulate its modular input from wherever, and then you just stick triangle waves. Yeah, I knew I did that. And then you can add stuff to it. Other things. It's like horrible. You can hear there's a growl sound in the thing now. But also you can hear that it's nothing without the effects. And like any sub being played. And I actually think this is too low. But yeah, that's it. It's not too complicated, really. That's it. I'm sure what I did was like sloppy because I did it all by hand. Like carved out all my everything, which is don't know how I did that. But yeah, there you go. Darby, there you go. Now you know.